Hi, Bella. How are you?
Hi, great. Thank you.
Hmm.
I worked 7 years at Philips in the medical imaging domain. And after that, currently I'm a PhD student, a third-year PhD student, under the supervision of Professor Leo Joskowicz at the Hebrew University. Yeah, I guess I'm sucked into medical imaging field, and I like it very much.
How did it start in the first place? I mean, how did you get introduced to medical imaging?
It was, I guess somehow by mistake, maybe just from my work at Philips. I graduated my master's, and my master's were about machine learning and imaging, but it was natural images. So yeah, I guess I fell in love with it at Philips, working there and seeing the impact that it does. And
so since you said you fell in love with medical imaging, what is one thing so integral to medical imaging which you find lacking in other applications of machine learning?
Oh, I think it's obvious. I mean, it's combining two passions. It's like the passion of machine learning and deep learning and the research of the power of machine learning actually today, but with actual applications that can help in medicine. I guess you cannot ask for more than that.
Right.
It's great.
So usually a job is considered more of a financial stability. Shifting from a well-paying job to a PhD, was it worth it? And what was your motivation? How could you, make yourself take such a strong decision?
Yeah, of course, it's a very big drop in salary. Let's be clear, it's really is, and it's a big decision to make. But I guess at some point, I mean, you understand, you become more financially stable. I also have my husband. He's also a software engineer. So we are kind of two people that, can have pretty good salaries. So I guess after, several years, when you kind of become more stable, you are starting to think about what you love to do more, and money becomes not, I mean, it's very important, but it's not the primary goal. You want to make money, but also to love what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think being a woman gives you just this little bit of privilege that you have your husband to support you and you can reach out to your career dreams and aspirations in a more open way?
I think yes. This is the other side, right? I mean, we're talking about women, usually kind of we are the minority. And yes, I also have 2 children, by the way.
Okay, great.
Yeah. One at the age of 8 and one at the age of 5. And yes, and it's very challenging because we give birth and it's very time consuming, and this is kind of the downside maybe of being a woman, and also a lot of social aspects, and there are many differences. But I guess the one thing that which is that we are privileged in a way, is that usually we have a husband that earns also a lot of money, and we can afford ourselves to do such a shift.
But yeah. So my next question would be that do you want to share an incident or a story where you felt for the first time in life that being a woman was different in career?
I'm not sure it was the first time. This is something that you and I talked about before. But I think this is kind of a very good example, because it illustrates, the differences very well. So I was at a meetup where actually it was a special meetup because only women speakers were in this meetup. and it was supposed to promote women. And most of the people at this event were women. Men were allowed to come, but all the speakers were women. And then when the event came and the women talked about their work, so then I noticed that in the first half of the event, the only question that were asked were just from men, and the men were something like a third from all the audience. So this is kind of bothered me because, you know, even when we are outnumbering the men, which is not happening in our field, we are still not asking questions. We're still afraid of something. So I really felt obliged to ask something. And in the second half, I don't know. I don't even remember what I asked. But the point is that after I asked, I saw other women talking as well, asking questions as well. And I think this is kind of the most illustrative example of, you know, how it's not only the society, it's not only the numbers. I guess we in our DNA, we have something as women that, you know, we just think about, you know, we are more afraid to ask something because maybe we will be ridiculed, or I don't know, maybe the question will not be perfect, right? Maybe we will appear not smart enough. So I guess we are too much overthinking everything. And
so, you know, the answer could be very subjective, but why do you think that in general, women have this tendency of self-doubt or feeling underconfident about themselves, even though they are delivering great work?
And it's a good question. I think we are kind of locked in this perfection. You know, we want to be too perfect. We are afraid to make a mistake. And this is kind of inherent in us, and we need somehow to break it. I don't know if it's because of a cultural thing or some other thing, but and also I think from this story, it's also nice to see that, you know, if people see or if women see a role model, right, of women there, so it can help them also break this barrier.
So tracing back to your childhood, when did you started exploring a career in tech? And there's this thing that when we are 5-year-old, we want to be something, and when we are 20, we want to be something else. So what was your aspiration as a kid, and how much of that you could realize it now?
Yeah, actually, I was not the one who knew what I want. I mean, I have my sister. She wanted to be a doctor, you know, from little age, and now she's a doctor, and that's it. I mean, and she knew it from the beginning. I was always, you know, I love that and maybe that, and I loved psychology. I was, though, a very, very good student. I was, my mother, you know, my parents are divorced, and my mother raised us. So I knew from early on, and we are also immigrants from Ukraine. So I knew from young age that money is very, very important, and you need to work hard, and you need to have a good grades, because if you want to do something in life and you want opportunities around you, you know, you need to work hard at school. So yes, so I did at school, I did you know, all the physics and the math program and things like that because of this background, but I wasn't sure what I would do. So then in my first when I went to the university, I actually in the beginning I wanted to learn psychology, just, you know, for the fun. So I ended up learning psychology and computer science. Yeah, and the computer science part, I didn't have anyone in family who works in this, so this was pure because of the money. Right, and I guess for men it usually happens that they go there for the money, but for women it's more rare. So I kind of was fortunate, I believe, because of my background that I was forced to go there. And then at the end of my bachelor's studies, I kind of did this course of image processing. And then it was very interesting to see that, I caught something and it's also related somehow to math, and I see it in the image, and it was very exciting as this thing. So I went on to my second degree there. Because of the imaging, and also because of machine learning, which was suddenly also exciting to me. I mean, how a machine can work and can learn, right? And then there was no, the deep learning stuff was kind of still not very popular, and I did a course in neural networks, but it was a professor which only he did this thing, and nobody looked on it very seriously. So my master's degree was about SVM and the descriptors and the old computer vision stuff. Yeah, so this was kind of a journey which I discovered only in at the end of my bachelor's degree, that this is something that I actually love doing.
So you say you've been raised by your mother single-handedly. So what were the inspirational paths of observing your mother act as your provider, and how it motivated you to get into a career that is more financially strong and stable?
Yeah, I guess she always pushed us, to learn and, to be financially independent. This was very important for her. So I guess this was the part that drew me to computer science at the beginning, and this is why I'm really grateful for. The thing that I didn't want to take from her is that she actually sacrificed herself for us all the way. And I kind of always felt that she didn't fulfill her needs and what she wanted to do because she needed to raise us. And this is something that I also wanted. I just wanted to be the opposite. I want to have money, but also do what I love and have my career, and not only live my life, but what my kids do. Right.
And congratulations, you did it, right?
Yeah. I feel great about my
It's
career.
amazing.
Yeah.
You reflect back on life. What are the decisions that you're proud of, and what are the decisions that you would want yourself to rethink, and you would want your younger self to be advised that maybe this path could be better for you?
I think one of the things that I'm proud about myself, there is there was one point at Philips where, in the beginning I did machine learning on metadata, and this is something that I already told you that went on to the product, but then I really wanted to do deep learning. When it became a little bit more famous, but it was only the beginning at the time point. So then I had my second child. And I was very, very motivated to learn it. So we actually bought a computer with a GPU to my house. Yeah, and after he was born, and I was with him in this period of 3.5 months, I actually ran stuff on GPU. So I did a course. I don't remember which one. I can track that, but I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, there was just the tutorial part, and then you have some exercises, and I just did those exercises there at that time. And then after I went back to Philips, it's kind of nobody did this in my group. I was, the only one who said, okay, it's not a big deal, so I actually also advised which hardware to buy, and I just was the first one, in my group to work on deep learning, and then I was kind of the expert.
So Bella, I wanted to ask that if we compare the situation of a generation that was before us and the generation that we are living in, why do you think that the success ratio of women in tech is increasing, or there is a huge surge in the number of participants from both the genders equally now?
Yeah, so I think that maybe today men are more active in raising their children than they used before. Maybe not all of them. There are still a lot that are in this ancient mindset. But for example, my husband was really helpful in raising the kids, and I don't know if it was 50% or something like that, or exactly, because we have different roles and stuff like that. But it was very, very helpful to have someone like that who really helps, and you're not alone with that. So hopefully this will be, kind of much more happening around the world, and women will be much freer to do also to advance their careers as well.
Right. Interesting. A very interesting discussion. Thank you so much. I'm glad to have this discussion with you, and I'm sure that you're going to do amazing work in your career in future too, and your family is going to be so proud of you. And I'm so grateful that you agreed to have this discussion with me.
Okay, thank you. It was very nice to talk with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.